What up, fuckers? You missed me? It's been a minute again, but you know how it is. Life happens and stuff gets in the way. So, what I'm doing today is I'm going to be ranking the 90s discography from the Norwegian black metal big five. So, the bands I'm going to be talking about today, in my personal opinion, it's Enslaved, Emperor, Immortal, Mayhem, and Buthurt. So I'm not including Burzum because I've mentioned before I only care about the self-titled record, and it'd be kind of boring if you just see me just shit on him for a few times, but oh well. So like I said, this is just my opinion, so I'm sure you'll disagree with me, but oh well. But first, we're listening to, if you can hear it. So this is Purgatory with Damage Done by Worms. These guys are a German death metal band, and this is from like 95, 96. So to me, it's like Vomitory, Vader, and Hater Turtle all mixed together with a little bit of some of the evilness from like mid-air Vital Remains too. So yep, good stuff. Purgatory, Damage Done by Worms. Awesome band that I don't see get mentioned very often. So this first one is the only album I do not own. It is Emperor Prometheus. It's not a bad record, just I never think to listen to this one, which is probably the reason I haven't bought this one, so yeah. Good record, but it's more of almost like the first Ishan solo album instead of an Emperor album, so it's definitely why it's not a favorite, but oh well. Alrighty. So this is definitely going to be a hot take, and I'm sorry if I'm not going to explain all these in great detail, because this would be like an hour-long video and nobody needs that, so here's probably a hot take. Immortal Blizzard Beast, this is a good record, but of the first five, definitely my least favorite. It's a good record, but I never really think to play this one. It honestly sounds pretty weird too. There's some good songs like the title track, Sun That Sank Below, Battlefields, Mountain of Might, Window of the Ages. It's just produced pretty weird, and it's kind of like chaotically sloppy. Like some of the playing is not the best, and it kind of sounds very weird. So there's that. Good record, but it's pretty low on this list. So there you go. Immortal Blizzard Beast. These next two are both by the same band, so I'll get them both out of the way. So Dark Throne, Total Death, good record, but not one of the best in my opinion, which I honestly, for a while, this was the last album by them I liked for a good while. It wasn't until like a year or two I got into the later stuff, but honestly, this is a good, but not one of the best. But anyway, Total Death, definitely I would say they're the thrashiest record of their like pre-heavy metal era, but yep, good one. The follow-up to Pain of Frost, they definitely had a big hill to climb, because that's definitely one of their best. But anyway, there you go, Total Death. And then we have Ravishing Grimness, which this is definitely a lot slower, but I don't mean like in the Celtic Frost way. It's definitely, I would say, like a little bit of like some doominess started to come up on this record, which probably maybe why it took me a while to get into this record. I wasn't like ready for them to be slow. I wanted more like fast, like Transylvania Hunger style, but if you can get into them not sounding like Transylvania Hunger or Under Funeral Moon, it's definitely a solid album. Though my favorite after the first five is Hate Them, that's definitely their best later era album, even though that was like 20 years old, but oh well. So there you go, Ravishing Grimness. Alrighty, so up next we have Nine Equilibrium. Underrated record, so honest people seem to say it's like, oh, the last good album was Anthems of the Walk on the Dusk. I disagree. I don't think they have a bad record, but this one is definitely not one of their best, but like I said, you'll see my ranking later. But yep, some great songs in here like Curse You All Man, and Equally of Acheronus, The Warriors of Modern Death. Definitely Curse You All Man's the best one. Curse You All Man. Great shit. So that is Emperor and Nine Equilibrium. I get why people say it. This is not like, I get why people say Anthems is like their last good record. This one is definitely more like bombastic and like progressive and out there if you don't like the earlier stuff, but I came to appreciate it though, but oh well. So you go, Emperor 9 Equilibrium. Up next, Enslaved Viking Legazelde. Good record, but honestly, I definitely, well, you'll see, I prefer the next three, and honestly, a lot of the 2000s era ones to this, which, this is a good record, but not one of their strongest. Not even in their, like, top 5, or maybe not even top 10 for me, but yep. Awesome record, but I would say it's more, like, substandard, like, it's not, like, they definitely have their own sound later, but I would say this is definitely a lot more bands could have done this in the scene, which I think later on they definitely had their own unique sound. They became distinctly enslaved, if you know what I mean. But yep, good record, but not very original. So that's the only downside. I think probably gonna be another hot take that this record's this low, but oh well. Under a Funeral Moon. So the reason this one is this low is because this took me a while to get into, because it doesn't exactly sound very good. It's like Natron's Madrigal with like a super thin and like buzz-saw guitar tone. I believe this is the last record with Survivors, because I know he wasn't on Transylvanian Hunger, so their last record is a 3-piece, and obviously moving forward it was just Nocturnal and Fenris. Some great songs in here though, like Natasha and Eternal Sleep, the title track, Unholy Black Metal, To Walk the Infernal Fields, Crossing the Triangle of Flames. All classic songs, but not one of my favorites by this group of bands. So take that with what you will. Dark Throne, Under a Funeral Moon. Next up, we have Immortal, Diabolical Full Moon Mysticism. Great record, but I definitely listened to the following 2 albums more. This is definitely a killer record if you're not a fan of like their super blasty stuff they would do later. Give this one a chance. It's definitely, I would say, the most like first wave influence. You hear a lot of Bathory on this album, which a lot of the Norwegian bands you hear Bathory, but this is definitely one of the ones where that influence is the most distinctive. Yep. Good album. Definitely doesn't sound like what they would do later, but I think it's an awesome standout in the discography that they didn't do another album that sounded like this. So, very great debut record. Diabolical Full Moon Mysticism. So this one, I've said before, I have some problems with, but the songs are awesome. I just wish the playing was a little bit better. If it wasn't, if the playing was better, it would be a lot higher. But Immortal at the Heart of Winter. So my main issue with this record is Adam's guitar playing is pretty sloppy. It sounds like some of the songs are played like 10% too fast, like above his abilities. It's like, dude, slow down. But honestly, it would have been better with Demon Ass, but obviously Blizzard Beast was the album that gave him Carpal Tunnel, which if you've seen guitar tabs, you definitely know why. The playing on the record is absolutely insane, but yep. Favorites on here, definitely Where Dark and Light Don't Differ. I think it's one of their best songs, period. Another favorite is probably the title track and Solo Fall. Definitely the best artwork though, I love that painting. Just pretty sweet. Yep. Immortal at the Heart of Winter. Great record, just I wish it had Demon Ass on guitar, but oh well, what can you do? There you go. Alrighty, so this one's probably gonna get out your pitchforks, and I can hear the mob coming. This should be like #1, but for me it's this low, so I'm sorry, not really, but anyway. I know. You can stop yelling at me and flip me off. I know. Great record, but not one of my favorites, honestly. Which I know most people would say it's like the best black metal record of all time. I can definitely see why, but obviously there's a bunch more I prefer over this. But yep, if you want to get into black metal, I would definitely recommend this. This is definitely an essential record. It is one of the best, but not one of my favorites though. But good record, but I still think there's a bunch better records from the scene anyway. At least for me there are. But favorites on here, Funeral Frog and Freezing Moon. Obviously, these are like two of the best black metal songs ever. When that's cold and when that's dark, the freezing moon will obsess you. Then we got From the Dark Past, Buried by Time and Dust, Life Eternal, Pagan Fears, the title track. Every song's great, just I wish, I don't know. Good record, just not my favorite. So again, put down the pitchforks, I'm sorry. Not really, I don't care. Alrighty, another one that probably should be higher, but oh well. Transylvanian Hunger. This, I believe, was like the second black metal album I ever heard, and I thought it sounded like complete garbage, which back when I first heard this, I was like just getting into death metal too, so listening to this, I wasn't ready for it, but obviously I've come to appreciate it later. My favorite is definitely Scarlet Acid Test Soul. Dun 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 dun. Or Solid ad Define, which I believe that's the one that translates to Castle in the Distance. It's either that or track 2, I don't remember, but I know it's one of the songs on side A translates to Castle in the Distance. I think it's that one, but yeah. I know they got in trouble and the OG presses. It said like true Aryan black metal or some sketchy shit, but obviously they removed that on the reissues. It just says true Norwegian black metal. Definitely, I would say the most influential album from this entire list, because, I mean, just the album cover alone has been copied to death, so there was also that. And musically, obviously, there's bands that have done nothing but for 30 years try to copy this album over and over and over again, but it's been replicated some good times, but not, like, equally duplicated ever, I don't think, but yeah. Here they go. Transylvanian Hunger. So going to Eld, Enslaved. So definitely how I said the first Immortal was the most Bathory influenced. This is definitely, I would say, the most like Bathory influenced Enslaved record. I mean, listen to the first song, 793 Eglant Landesfernlich. That is a total like Viking era Bathory song. That easily could have been on like Blood, Fire, Death, or Hammer, Heart, Twilight of the Gods, or even Blood on Ice, but yep. Good record. Many people say this is their best record. I can definitely see why. Even though I'm a giant Bathory nerd, this is a good record, but not my favorite, which you will see later. I love that cover art too. It's pretty, it's stupid but awesome. And then the 3 guys in the back, that is sweet. So there you go. Eld. I'm not saying what numbers you saw, I'll say the last 3, but oh well. So this is definitely, I didn't know where to put this one. This one took me a minute to come up with the placement for this one, but I feel good at landing it here. Soulside Journey. So obviously the most different record on this list, because this is their death metal album. I decided almost not to include it, but I decided why not. It's part of their 90s album, so figured, screw it. Favorite in here is definitely Chrome Lek, or Grave with a View, or The Watchtower, those 3, but definitely Chrome Black. It's been covered a bunch. Yep. Good record. Honestly, I think a super unique death metal album. There isn't another one that sounds like this. I mean, there's a lot of bands that copy like your Left Hand Paths and Everflowing Streams and all those bands, but I don't hear any albums like present day that try to copy Soulside Journey, which is definitely, I think, a good thing, because it's a pretty hard album to replicate. But there you go. Soulside Journey. Alrighty. So this one, it probably should be higher, but oh well, I've flip-flopped this in my other favorite by this band a bunch. I can never decide which one's my favorite, but for today, this is where it lands. So this is Emperor. Wow. This is Enslaved with Frost, their second record from 1995, I believe is when this came out. 94, 95, something like that. So when people mention like atmospheric black metal, I think this is definitely one of the like precursors to that, because I don't think this gets mentioned a lot in that scene. People always mention like, say, oh, it started with bands like Wolves in the Throne Room. No. Where do you think bands like Wolves in the Throne Room got their influence? They weren't listening to Emperor or Immortal. They were listening to this, which you can definitely hear this like all over the place. I mean, definitely one of the like stereotypical and album sounds like the cover. This is definitely like the perfect album cover for this record. You can definitely, it's like standing in the cold mountains of Norway, just listening to the winds and everything absorbing you. I know it sounds stupid, but it's appropriate. But there you go. Enslaved, Frost. Alrighty. Dark Throne, Panzerfaust. So this came out in 1995, yeah, 95, which is my favorite year for black metal, like I've mentioned in the past, but yeah. It says it was recorded in February, in April of 94, not sure why it took like another almost year to come out, but oh well, that's maybe labels issues or whatever. Favorites on here is definitely, I would say, the Hordes of Nebula, Triumphant Gleam, or Quintessence, which that's definitely the fan favorite. It's funny to say. Unholy Black Metal, the most hated band in the world. Yeah, okay, guys, I'm sure you were. Definitely, I would say this is where the Celtic Frost isms definitely rose to prominence. You could hear that all over this, but even like the early records, you could hear a lot of Frost, but oh well. Dark Throne, Panzerfaust. Alrighty. Alright, so this is top 6 times, so number 6. We have Battles in the North. Definitely, I know they were fast and crazy on Pure Holocaust, but this one they went next level with it. So we get another record from 1995, so favorites on this one, the title track, I mean the second riff. Besides that, Moonrise, Fields of Shadows, and Circling Above in Time Before Time. But yep, great record. This used to be my favorite Immortal record, but the last 3 or 4 years I felt like spinning another one, which you'll see that in a second. But there you go. Battles in the North. At number 6. The top 5 time. Blood Hymn by Enslaved. So again, like Eld, definitely I would say a lot of like Bathory-isms, especially that record. This is almost, I would say, like the 90s version of Bloodfire Death, which is like partially like epic Viking metal and partially almost like epic Viking black thrash kind of, which that's definitely what that is, the master of doing both of those styles. But yep, I kind of wish Enslaved did another record that sounded like this, because this is the only one where they incorporated more of a thrashy edge, so it would have been cool to hear them do that later on, but oh well. Can't complain with what came after though. They definitely did some great stuff after this, obviously, but there you go. Blood Hymn. Alrighty, number 4. Blaze in the Northern Sky. So definitely I think my favorite Dark Throne record at the moment. Though this and Panzerfaust is always flip-flops, but today I'm just saying it's this one. I know Side A gets all the love because Catharian Life Code and The Shadow of the Horns, but my favorite is Where Cold Winds Blow and The Pagan Winter, which those are on Side B, so this is definitely a case of where I think Side B has the 2 highlights, at least for me it does, but yep. Again, like Panzerfaust, you can definitely hear the Celtic Frost-isms all over this record, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. So there you go, Blaze in the Northern Sky. Alrighty, coming in bronze today. In the Last Side Eclipse, so basically any other list, this could have been gold, but there's 2 more that just barely edged it out, but if this was like a if this came from Sweden or like any other country, it would have been #1, but not quite. Favorites on this one, I mean, do I even need to name them? But in case you have never heard this record for some reason, Cosmic Keys in My Creation in Time, Beyond the Great Vast Forest, and I Am the Black Wizards, maybe the best black metal song of all time. That's definitely the best riff though. I mean, the middle, the they played that live and I lost my shit. That was fucking awesome to hear them play that, which I know they would, cause that's like definitely their biggest song, but well, either that or Inna Tut Satana. But yep, great record, but coming in bronze today. Alrighty, the silver medal and runner-up, Pure Holocaust. So definitely my favorite immortal record. It has been the last 3 or 4 years. Favorites on here: A Sign for the Northwards to Ride, Frozen by Ice Winds, Unsilent Storms of the Northern Abyss, the title track, Eternal Years of the Path to Cemetery Gates. I mean, this whole record completely slays, so definitely their best record, in my opinion, but there you go. Alrighty. So drum roll. So according to me, the best record from the Norwegian black metal Big 5 from the 90s is Anthems of the Welcome to Death by Emperor. So currently, not only is this the best from this scene, I think this is the best black metal record of all time if you had to ask me, man. This is a 10 out of 10 fucking perfect masterpiece. Nothing wrong with it. Great drumming, great vocals, great everything. Great production, awesome synths. I mean, everything on this record is fucking amazing. I wouldn't change a single thing. Favorite track though, I'm gonna say Enscored by Chaos or With Strength I Burn, but obviously Ye in Transiperium, another favorite too. But like I said, this is a perfect record as far as I'm concerned. But yeah. So that is the winner, is Emperor, Anthems to the Welcome to Death. So there you go. There you go. Alrighty, thank you for watching. Hopefully no one's yelling at me for having some records too low, but I'm sure they will. So I'm honestly curious. Rank these down below. I know that might be a pain in the ass from a few of you. I might probably give you a stroke trying to rank these, but oh well. I'll try to be more consistent, not do another video in a month, but we'll see. So thanks for watching. Take care. Like I said, put your list below. I am curious though. But anyway, peace out. Hails.